Hello, welcome to my not TED Talk, not classroom instruction, just a long version of an elevator pitch of what CX measurement means to me. So last week I said something about surveys and who to present them to. It's taken me a week to gather my thoughts and figure out what I would say to somebody who was stuck in an elevator with me for about 6 minutes and 37 seconds. I know that's very specific, but that's what I came up with when I included some songs. Yes, songs to go with my spiel of surveys and customer experience markers and how I think of measuring them. And in my head, there's always a disco ball and a microphone in this metaphorical elevator. I don't know why, but I guess it's got something to do with you, to do with you. If you know this band, Imagine Dragons, unlike their name, we don't have to imagine the answer to any of the whys. Why did somebody not complete a task? Why did they leave our website? Why does my 13-year-old roll his eyes at me about a dozen times a day? We don't have to guess. We can ask them. Well, not my teenager, but the visitors to our websites, the callers to our 800 numbers. Just give them a survey. And not just to say we have surveys. We want to measure specific markers, and OMB helps us by naming them in Circular A11, Section 280, Managing Customer Experience and Improving Service Delivery. You all know that. I wanted to visualize them on a chart, and I gave trust and satisfaction their own lines and bundled perceived ease, timeliness, effectiveness together for the sake of this discussion. We could bundle staff intervention in there too. I have on the x-axis the 1 to 5 scale we ask respondents to use, with 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Unlike limbo, how low can you go? We don't want to ask the respondents that because based on some open-ended feedback, if they could give us negative scores right now, they would. The y-axis has our time span from now till sometime in the future when we will have flying cars. I also added something on the right. I think it might be a z-axis. I don't remember my middle school math. But that's to account for the time it takes to make technological changes. Starting some point in the past where we were chiseling code onto stone tablets, to the right where everything's in the cloud, whatever that might be. I don't know what that is. Looks like a cumulus, and I couldn't find any songs about clouds, sadly, but I digress, which is why I will never be able to write a book, and I will just regale you with stories in an elevator. Back on track. We know most of our agencies, local, state, or federal, are working with old and disconnected databases and systems, and it takes a lot of money, people, and time to get to the end of a total IT modernization effort. My point is that we might never be able to get the satisfaction scores of Amazon or Apple or even Walmart. Our marker of success has to be trust. We need our constituents to believe that we have their best interests in mind, even if we are slow and steady like the mighty tortoise. Not only are our back ends slow, maybe not as steady, our front ends are confusing, making our web visitors say, I'm sorry, I don't understand where all of this is coming from. You thought the songs were gone, didn't you? My apologies to Pink if she ever lands on this video. But our walls of legal jargon leave our readers dazed and confused. As we slowly move from left to right in our modernization efforts, we can at least simplify our language and instructions and be honest about the time and requirements it will take for any user, task, or agency action. Be honest and transparent. It will take 1 to 2 hours to complete your application. Then it will take us 6 to 8 weeks to review it. If approved, it will take 3 to 6 months for you to receive your first payment. and put all of that information in easy to understand, simple words, paragraphs, sentences. Will the reader be satisfied? No, because it's going to take long. Will they consider their payment timely? Of course not. Will they trust you? Hopefully, yes. And as we slowly and modularly modernize our systems, oops, sorry, I didn't use simple language, we can follow how we build that trust as we take that first step of becoming more transparent. And step two is helping them recover when they stumble. If they're lost, they can look and they can find you time after time. Do what Cyndi Lauper said. Catch them when they fall. We know that not everyone can finish their task online. Lack of broadband, digital illiteracy, not remembering who had your mortgage 17 some years ago can have you failing out of an online task. Make sure wherever they are and whoever they interact with in that moment of confusion, chatbot, an employee they call, knows exactly where they are and can take them down the path. Help them either finish their task or explain exactly why they cannot do what they're trying to do. Not only does that build and keep their trust in you, that can raise their satisfaction score even if they're unable to accomplish their task. And you would only know that if you ask them. There's an interesting part there where you can start to see how accomplishment or not of a task and staff intervention play with each other. Like, did they accomplish tasks and whether or not talking to somebody raised or lowered their trust and satisfaction scores? Or whether they did not accomplish a task, but they had spoken to people on a phone or at an office, and that raised their trust, even if they didn't finish what they started out doing. And I think that's really interesting how you can start seeing that across interactions. And you wouldn't be able to follow that if you didn't provide that feedback mechanism to everybody, whether they were successful or not in their task. And then it's the end. You've ascended to the cloud. IT modernization is over. All scores collect together at the 5. In reality, though, you probably have 9,999 other problems to solve. Hope this was helpful, if not at least entertaining. And if you've made it this far, because you were stuck in the elevator with me technically, ask me to buy you a beverage of your choice next time you see me in person. Thank you.